The moment the ship's artificial gravity failed, I fell and the universe seemed to collapse around me. Metal groaned. Sparks rained from fractured conduits. And through it all, I saw her, hovering in zero gravity, her 4 arms gripping the hull like a predator defying physics. She was beautiful in a way that hurt, alien yet achingly human. "Is there room in your bed?" she asked, her voice calm despite the chaos, calm enough to make my pulse catch. I didn't answer. Not yet. Because she wasn't just asking about a bed. She was asking about something far more dangerous: trust, vulnerability, choice. But that was only the beginning. For months, we had been on the run. She, the last of the Sithari nobles, me, a human soldier caught in a galaxy that had no space for either of us. They called her a threat, a terror, an alien aristocrat whose people had enslaved thousands of worlds. Yet here she was, her eyes locked on mine, asking permission for something far more intimate than shelter. I had learned not to trust easily. Humanity taught me that. Survival taught me more. And yet, as I floated toward her to stabilize her in my arms, something inside me broke, the part of me that had survived nightmares, betrayals, and empty corridors filled with whispers of death. "What do you want from me?" I finally asked, my voice barely audible over the clamor of failing systems. "Just a place," she said, her amber eyes softening. "In your heart." I wanted to laugh, wanted to call it impossible, wanted to remind myself that trust wasn't a weapon to wield, it was a risk I wasn't sure I could take. But what I saw in her eyes shattered every shield I had built. There was fear. There was hope. And there was pain I recognized, because pain doesn't care if you're human or alien. We drifted together through the failing corridors, moving from chamber to chamber as the station's security drones glitched, unable to distinguish friend from foe. Each step we took was a gamble. One wrong move, and the humans hunting her could find us first, or the Sithari loyalists would reclaim her and end me. What I saw next changed everything. She showed me the heart of her world. A chamber filled with holographic archives, secrets of her people, the evidence of their conquests. Worlds burned. Millions enslaved. And yet, she flinched at each image, each memory. Not in pride, but in guilt. "I should hate you," I said, my hand hovering over her shoulder. "For everything your people did." "And yet, you didn't," she said. Her voice trembled not from fear, but from the weight of judgment, of history, of expectation. "Why?" "Because hate doesn't save lives," I whispered. "Trust does. Compassion does." She stared at me for long seconds, and I realized she had never been treated this way. By anyone. Not her people, not the humans who wanted her dead, not even her own kind. And in that instant, she made a choice. A choice that would change both our fates. We were cornered at the docking bay when the Sithari hunters arrived. Twin warships hovered, their weapons primed. And she, trembling but resolute, turned to me. "If we do this together," she said, "we may not survive. But we could be free." I nodded. Then we survived together. The battle was chaos. Plasma beams cut through the bay, zero-gravity debris spun like deadly confetti, and every step we took was a calculation of life and death. Yet, amid the fire and flashing lights, she moved with precision, every motion a blend of instinct and grace that belied her suffering. And yet, she hesitated whenever I reached for her. For all her power, for all her skill, she had never let anyone in. Never truly. Not until now. When the last hunter fell and silence returned, I floated toward her, heart pounding, adrenaline still thrumming in my veins. She was bruised, scratched, her armor dented, but alive. Safe. I offered my hand. She took it. And for the first time, I understood what she had meant. There was room in my bed. And there was room in my heart. What now? She asked softly, leaning against my chest as we watched the galaxy stretch beyond the viewport. Stars spinning in slow arcs, indifferent yet eternal. Now? I asked. Now we decide if trust is stronger than fear. She smiled, the first real smile I had seen from her. Not one of command, not one of cruelty, not one that demanded loyalty, but one that held vulnerability, hope, and the quiet strength of someone who had endured more than most could imagine. I think, she said, resting her head against my shoulder, we start with the bed. I laughed. A sound I hadn't heard from myself in months, pure and free. And in that laughter, I heard something deeper than survival. I heard the birth of something neither of us could have predicted, connection. Weeks passed as we navigated the remnants of the station, repaired engines, and evaded patrols. She taught me Sithari tactics. I taught her patience, humor, and human ways to heal. And each night, when the lights dimmed and gravity returned to normal, she asked again, "Is there room in your bed?" And each time, I answered the same way. "Only if you want a place in my heart." We weren't safe. We weren't home. The galaxy still whispered threats in languages neither of us fully understood. But for the first time, it didn't matter. Because in the midst of stars, war, and death, we had found something more precious than survival. And as I held her, the weight of her history, her suffering, and her power against me, I realized the truth. The heart could hold more than fear, more than history, more than enemies. It could hold her. And she wouldn't let me go. That night, as the station's lights flickered and the galaxy stretched infinitely beyond, I knew something unshakable. Room in a bed was nothing without room in a heart. And mine was full.